Hello everybody, I am Sanjay Kadam and today we will study about morphology as well as histology of pituitary gland. In previous lecture we focused over the vital statistics of pituitary gland. Today we study in detail morphology of pituitary gland. Okay, now we will study morphological aspect of pituitary gland. As we know, pituitary gland is located below hypothalamus of our brain. Here, this is the lower portion of hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus. And below hypothalamus, the downgrowth of the hypothalamus is called posterior lobe. Posterior lobe of pituitary or neurohypophysis. And the anterior lobe is lobe of pituitary. It is also called adenohypophysis. This one anterior lobe and this one is the posterior lobe. In this way, the gland look like somewhat P-shape or somewhat oval, P-shape. Anterior lobe larger, posterior lobe smaller. Anterior lobe constitutes near about 70% part of pituitary, means 3/4 of pituitary, while posterior lobe constitutes about 25% or 1/4 of total pituitary. In this way, it is 3 times larger than this posterior lobe. Okay. Now, here anterior lobe of pituitary having 3 parts. This anterior lobe means adenohypophysis having 3 parts. This tubular collar-like portion here, the tubular collar-like portion, here is the tubular collar-like portion by which anterior lobe attaches to posterior lobe. It is called pars tubularis. Pars this portion is pars tubularis. Then the middle portion, big portion, this dotted portion is pars distalis. Big one, secretory, more functional part, major part of the anterior pituitary is pars distalis, and the intermediate part, intermediate lobe, intermediate part is very small and reduced. This is called pars intermedia, means intermediate part. In this way, anterior lobe of pituitary having upper small tube-like but collared structure of pituitary is pars tubularis, means tubular part. Pars distalis means distal part. This is bigger, enlarged, and much glandular, much cellular, and highly vascular portion. From here, majority of hormones of pituitary are released from pars distalis, and the reduced cleft-like portion in between pars distalis and pars nervosa, means posterior lobe, is called pars intermedia, which is non-functional in case of human beings, because human pituitary is bilobed. Intermediate lobe reduced so as to form pars intermedia, and it is considered as the part of the anterior pituitary. It is included into anterior pituitary, and which is mostly non-functional. But if it is functional, intermediate lobe is functional in case of lower vertebrates like reptiles and amphibia, where this intermediate lobe is large, functional, and secretes a hormone MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, which helps in change of their skin to camouflage, to match with the surrounding conditions. Okay, but in case of human beings, MSH hormone has little role. Okay, then because this part is reduced, that is why it is non-functional part. Okay, now pars tubularis, pars distalis, and pars intermedia, these are the three parts. Among these three parts, pars distalis is much functional and enlarged as compared to both. Okay, now about the posterior part of the pituitary. Here, posterior part of pituitary is called neurohypophysis, and it has three parts. Hypothalamus have lower portion. This is the lower portion of hypothalamus, to which the pituitary gland attaches from ventral side, from lower side. It is called medians eminence. It is called median eminence. It is the prominent lower part at the lower side of the hypothalamus. This side, lower side of the hypothalamus, a prominent part is there, to which the posterior lobe attaches by its stalk-like structure. This is the stalk-like structure of the posterior pituitary, called infundibulum or stalk of the pituitary. This portion is called stalk of the pituitary, infundibulum, means stalk of the pituitary. And here we can separate this part, this stalk-like part, from this major part, and this major part is now called pars nervosa. Means in this way, pituitary, posterior pituitary has two portions, main two portions, stalk and pars nervosa. But in some books, reference books, median eminence is also considered as a third part of the posterior pituitary. One, median eminence; second, infundibulum; and third, pars nervosa means nervous part, stalk, and the portion, attachment portion where the pituitary attaches to hypothalamus from lower aspect, from lower side, that is called median eminence. In this way, median eminence, infundibulum and pars nervosa, infundibulum and the median eminence, these are the three parts. In the same manner, pars tubularis, big pars distalis and reduced pars intermedia are the three parts of the anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis. Okay, this is the external structure of pituitary, or it is the morphological structure of pituitary. Here, these are the two lobes, anterior lobe and posterior lobe. Okay, anterior lobe, posterior lobe, adenohypophysis, neurohypophysis. Anterior lobe is secretory, while posterior lobe means neurohypophysis is non-secretory lobe or part of the pituitary, because there are no secretory cells, but the pars nervosa or neurohypophysis means posterior lobe releases hormones of hypothalamus. Hypothalamic nuclei are there, supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei means the neurosecretory cells secreting their secretions, hormones, they are brought here by their axons. Okay, in this way hypothalamic hormones are brought here into the pars nervosa, and from where they are released into, poured into bloodstream. That is why such hormones are not of neurohypophysis but of hypothalamus. But here, in case of adenohypophysis, pars distalis having different types of secretory cells, endocrine cells, they secrete number of hormones. That is why it is more functional as compared to this neurohypophysis. Okay. Now, as we learned previously, the pituitary gland located into a depression of sphenoid bone. This is the depression of sphenoid bone, that is called sella turcica, as we learned in previous video. Okay, this is the sella turcica, means depression of sphenoid bone into which pituitary is lodged. Half pituitary is inside the sella turcica, means the concavity of the sphenoid bone, and half pituitary uncovered, it is overhanging. Okay, in this way, this is the morphological details or the external features, external structure of the pituitary gland. This one is hypothalamus. This is the optic chiasma, and this one part is hypothalamus. Median eminence, this is the infundibulum, then pars nervosa, then pars tubularis, pars distalis, and this reddish part, pars intermedia. Okay, now some aspects of hypothalamus. Hypothalamus have neurosecretory cells. Here, suppose this one is the neurosecretory cell. This is the cyton, then its axon extended up to a pars nervosa of neurohypophysis. and the axonic ends are dilated, which stores the hormone secreted by neurosecretory cells here, and these structures, dilated ends of axons, are called herring bodies, called herring bodies, contains hormones brought from neurosecretory cells here at the end of axon so as to release them into bloodstream. Okay, this is the supra-optic nucleus. Okay, and another, suppose nucleus is, this is the axon, these are the axons of supraoptic nucleus and paraventricular nucleus. Okay, both supraoptic nucleus and paraventricular nucleus are the neurosecretory cells. They are the nerve cells modified so as to release hormones, so as to secrete hormones. That is why called neurosecretory cells. And these two types of cells secreting two hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin or ADH. Okay, in this way neurosecretory cells have their long axons and they are brought here into pars nervosa, their ends dilated, enlarged so as to store hormones called herring bodies. From here, from the neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus secreting hormones brought here by axons, carried here into the herring bodies and then immediately released into the bloodstream. Two hormones are brought from hypothalamus up to the neurohypophysis, means it's pars nervosa of neurohypophysis, called oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called ADH. Okay, now this is about the neurosecretory cells or nuclei, supraoptic as well as paraventricular nuclei. Okay, now again next part about the blood connection to pituitary. Pituitary has no separate blood vessels, as like suppose blood vessel to liver is called hepatic artery or vein, means hepatic vessels supplying blood to liver, then pulmonary blood vessels supplying blood to lungs, then our brain has carotid artery and veins. Similarly, kidneys have renal artery and renal veins. But for pituitary, there is no special blood vessels. That is why blood from hypothalamus brought to pituitary. And when the blood vessel reaching to hypothalamus for blood supply, that is called arterial blood vessel. It forms capillaries here, many, and then forming vein. Vein comes out from hypothalamus and forming again capillary network, but venous capillary network inside the pars distalis, that is called portal system, hypophyseal portal system. Through portal vessels or capillaries, the blood supplied from hypothalamus to hypophysis. Hypophysis means pituitary gland. Hypophyseal portal system means the portal system of pituitary gland. In this way, the blood vessel are here. We will show it now. Suppose this is the blood vessel of hypothalamus forming capillary network. Here, these are the arterial capillaries. Then capillaries come out from hypothalamus entering into the pituitary, and where these blood vessels again forming a blood vessel network, that is capillary network, called hypophyseal portal system. This is the hypophyseal portal system. This is the hypophyseal portal system, and thereafter neurosecretory cells, pituitary cells, endocrine cells of adenohypophysis, that is chromophils. Chromophils have two types: acidophils, basophils. These are the endocrine cells secreting near about 6 hormones, and these hormones discharge into the hypophyseal portal systems, means the blood vessels of the portal system, and thereafter it is brought out from the anterior lobe. In the same manner from posterior lobe also. And in this way, the vein carrying the hormones of adenohypophysis as well as hormones of these hormones of neurohypophysis. Okay, in this way, arterial capillary network, then outgoing vein. Here is the arterial capillaries into the hypothalamus, then vein forming a network, venous capillaries forming portal system, and then it comes out from the adenohypophysis, and in this way the hormones released into the blood vessels. Okay, this is about the morphology of the pituitary gland. Okay,